You see, Jacob was not told anything that had not been told to his father and to his grandfather. He hadn't been told anything he hadn't heard before. Just all of a sudden he had different ears. All of a sudden he was hearing it with a different heart. And it went down to a deeper level. And out of that, all of a sudden he was ready to respond to God. And you may have spent a lot of years in church hearing the same thing over and over. Why they keep talking about the same thing? Every Easter and every Christmas when I come here, it's the same sermons that they preach. Why don't they give us something new? Well, all of a sudden, you may hear it with different ears. Jesus said, for those who have ears to hear. And the problem is not what you're hearing over and over, but you've never heard it to the level of your heart. It says, Jacob awoke from his sleep, and he said this. He says, surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. He was afraid and said, how awesome is this place. This is none other than the house of God and the gate of heaven. I spent a lot of years in church. But one day, one season of days, of Sundays, God woke me up. And all of a sudden I looked around and said, I didn't realize where I was. I did not know that God was in this place. Because I spent a lot of years just going through the mechanics of religion. Until one day God got a hold of my heart. And I recognized, surely God is in this place. God is speaking to me. God is using the ministries that are here to change me. All of a sudden, the place was different. Jacob didn't wake up somewhere different than he fell asleep. He woke up in the same place, but he was different. And he said, how awesome is this place? We had ice everywhere in Tulsa, and they don't know how to clear park. They don't have the snow machines. All they do is throw a little sand on top of it, and hopefully it'll help you out. So there was ice everywhere. And down there, they don't necessarily get snow. They get ice. And parking lots were just covered with ice. And we got stuck a few different times. We went to see Tom Hanks in Castaway, where he got abandoned on this island. Well, we got abandoned in the parking, or trying to exit. We couldn't get out. And we got all the way to the front, and tires were spinning. I had Josh, Katie, and Shiloh with me, and I told them to get out and to push. I knew they couldn't push the van, but I figured if Katie got out there, she'd draw somebody. And a whole carload of teenage boys jumped out and came over there and started pushing. So we got out of that. And a late night, I went to take something back to a store, and this parking lot was empty. And as I was leaving the store, I noticed that this truck that was just huge, it had a full-size bed, and then it had the seat behind the normal seat, big enough where you had a full-size door. So you had two doors on the side. It was this huge truck, and he was spinning around. And I thought, I wonder if this van would do that. So he left, and I went for that part of the parking lot, which is just wide open. And I hit the brakes, and I kind of fishtailed and said, that ain't good enough. So I hit the gas, and we started going, whoa, just around and around. I can imagine what a 15-passenger van spinning around in a parking lot would look like. But it was so much fun. When I came in, I just kind of crept apart it, but then coming back, it was like, how awesome is this place? How much joy did I just kind of creep over coming in? And maybe you haven't figured out how fun the house of God can really be. When Jesus is in charge of your heart, leading your life, and you come here and you can truly worship Him, it's not just kind of, well, I got a requirement to be there this Sunday, and if nobody has the sniffles, I know if somebody has the sniffles, all of us are going to have to stay home and wipe his nose. You got all these excuses. But then you figure out that God is fun, that being a Christian is a joy, and it is hard to keep you away from the things of God. And Jacob figures that out.